Sometimes I don't eat for a couple days. A couple reasons for that. I'm an odd guy. My brain works different than most people. That's why I'm not very nice always about when people tell me, sorry about the intro here, well, pretty much when they try and tell me anything, I'm usually not interested unless they really thought about it a lot. Because, boy, a lot of people are real quick with their opinions without knowing a hell of a lot at all. Now, I'm quick with my opinions sometimes, too. I'm sympathetic. Was I quick with my opinions when I was younger? Well, yeah, I was. And I might have come across as arrogant, which is one of the usual criticisms of me, actually, which is fine with me. But, you know, I was doing my best and studying all I could, and I knew a lot of shit, and I still do. So I'm still going to come across as arrogant to a lot of kinds of people who need sensitivity, that their opinion matters if they don't know anything about the topic. Now, I guess that's how we all learn, though. We're all young and we ask questions. I would prefer it if I'm going to have to speak with people in person and be this teacher role type guy. And I generally am not a real big fan of the role. Students should be polite. Fuck obnoxious students. That's not a good thing to be. So I'm going to mention how to be a good student here so that I even want to be a teacher here. You know? I'll tell you, most of the things I've learned, I can't teach you. Because they're my life. It's been complex as hell. I've done a lot of interesting things. A lot of interesting things have been done to me. Life happens hard, strange and interesting. But anyway, yours is too. And so most of the things that you can teach yourself are going to be from you in your experiences. You're your best teacher, you're your best guru. Do not make me your guru. Do not accept any other gurus. Do not pay any gurus. Do not have sex with any gurus unless you know them some and things are good. Figure out what your own cult is, your own religion, your own everything. And use your teacher, that'd be me in this case, because I'm offering my services as a teacher, that I'm going to say a whole bunch of stuff you don't agree with. You can tell me that you don't agree with me. That's actually part of the learning process, and that's just really great. Like, totally awesome thing to do. But if you're a dick at all about it, then I'm not going to like you as a student, and our relationship as teacher-student will be over. Goodbye. I don't need obnoxious, dumbass fuck students. Sorry, there's a little bitterness there. I've taught a lot of people without any remuneration at all. And that was my own, it's okay. It's my own choice. You know, I did it. Because I did it, and those people are awesome. 95% of them are awesome. The other 4% are dicks, and 1% I wouldn't give a shit if they died. Anyway, so my role as a teacher here is not that we find agreement, but that we find ways to communicate about complex topics. I mean, really the most complex topics that there are that exists. All of philosophy, starting from why do we think we exist? Are we a simulation? Blah, blah, blah. That stuff's really boring to me. And talking about all of the ways we live, we eat. These are the basics. How we eat, how we shelter ourselves, how we converse, and most importantly, for the process between you and I'm assuming I'm speaking to somebody who gives a shit, you know, otherwise, what's this video for? So far you think you might be interested in learning things I have to say, okay? Because I get applications to come here and be my student. And even two people just said, oh, I want to stay the night, but I want to learn everything you know, and I'm not going to pay anything. I said no. I do have to stay alive. So, The students that come here, somehow financed by some system that exists so that I can be alive, so that I can do this amazing thing, so I can direct it. I spend tons of my time doing all this shit I don't want to do regarding it. Sometimes I just rather live here. Being a hermit is questionable. But anybody here, as a student, should be here to learn. Don't come here to fight me. Don't come here with your own fucking agenda that you're trying to promote in your extremist, genderist, sexist, racist, nationalist, anything views. Don't be a student like that. If you're coming representing a religion, a product or something, let's go with a few products. You can come here and represent your awesome product if it's ecological and it's Bosque friendly. Actually, that's one way to get in. Come with your sponsor. Anyway, so a message for students is, first of all, figure out what the fuck a student is. Stop being a spoiled child in the industrial world, and don't fuck with shit. Don't touch anything until you know exactly why you're touching it. This is not a place for freedom to fuck shit up. That's not the kind of freedom we got here. I don't have it. I'm not free, okay? This is currently a dictatorial system, and I am the dictator of it. Now, you can call me president of it. I prefer the term founder. The guy who's defining how things work while they develop in an unusual space. Now, each person that comes here is a very important part of that. And they come by many names. They could be a student. They could be an old friend of mine. They could be a local family. They could be people playing volleyball. That's fairly popular here. Basketball. But more importantly, people come here as artists to produce the best work that they can create in their entire life with other people who are dynamic. Artists are very welcome here in the Bosque. You need to bring your own supplies or ask us about ours. We have lots of materials for artists that are completely available. Stone, earth. We have tools, shovels, pickaxes. We can make earth art. We have lots for wood carvers. Wood carvers can leave with their products, but as a way of paying their rent here, if they're sponsored at all, is to make a larger project that stays in the Bosque. And there's a million other kinds of people. Almost any skill that exists in the world could exist here, because we want to make a microcosm of the world that has lots of kinds of people. Now, back to the student thing. Yeah, come here as a willing student. Don't come here as a person who doesn't know a lot trying to teach shit. Read your stuff, know your stuff. Your opinion does not automatically matter at all, and respect is not given freely. All right? Even if you're paying to be here a huge amount, I wouldn't respect you anymore. You might have more to learn than anybody. Who knows? We just don't know. Every single participant that comes here is an individual, and I respect that. I've had over 3,000 people. I've been saying that for a year, and I haven't had that many this year, so it's pretty close still. Come through here, and they come on their own trip. Boy, oh boy, if you've ever had house guests, imagine house guests who are young, idealistic, in a fragile location with a fragile individual. Oh, it's been strange conversations and strange things. I'd like to say 99% of people have had a good time here, but I cannot read people's minds. There have been odd experiences. One guy, well, I'm not going to tell you about individuals. I keep people's lives private here, but clearly dynamics occur of some kind socially among people when there's people here. And if a lot of them are travelers. So, anyway, back to students. So those are just participants, really. Just to be here in the space to learn Bosque culture is Bosque 101, and I think everybody should have to pass it to be here. It's a basics class. It has terminology. It has social agreements. It has some mention of risks of how to mess things up, how to keep them from being messed up. Bosque 101. What are the plants here? Why are they here? It's an opportunity in your life to learn about a natural environment with all the animals and the forest. This is how we evolved to be. This is exactly how we evolved to be. Maybe a little warmer. But I'm interacting here with the plant life. I am changing the ecosystem. I am studying it as much as I can, and I have advice of experts of various kinds. I feel very comfortable with my interaction in sculpting a living system into being a biodiverse system. I just saw a salamander the other day I'd never seen before. It was black and it had red stripes across it horizontally and like dashes like rows. And I looked it up online, and I couldn't find one that looked like that. I found red and black ones, but nothing looked quite like that. Anyway, it got away, so I didn't really get a study. I didn't get a photo. I suck. It might as well be a UFO. So that's one thing every student here will study is the natural environment. The other thing every student here will study is agriculture in the basics. You must understand the agricultural philosophy of how we can raise food in a way to make a sustainable world that everybody just doesn't die of hunger. Which, by the way, it doesn't sound nice to say, but that's a very high probability that will occur. In other words, your baby won't have food. So if you care about your baby not having food, and if you think you care about the future of the human species continuing to exist, which is, I don't know if that's important, but if a baby is important to protect, then perhaps the planet, the future babies, the planet isn't as much danger as we are. The planet, if we kill it, will probably still live, and we probably won't kill everything on it. Who knows? It could happen. But the civilization we have is what's at risk. That's our baby. This is the brilliance, the pinnacle of all human culture that exists. So you're going to have to study that kind of bigger thinking about like why cultures exist, how civilizations rise and fall. That's some big thinking. You should have been doing that since you were a kid if you haven't been. I have. It's fun. Really interesting to learn about every damn thing. The other part of it, and this is an extremely important part as a student, is that to call you a student, a participant, or whatever, isn't an adequate enough title. Okay? While you're here, you're essentially living with us. Whoever's here at the time. Okay? Sometimes that's just me. There have been many people who've come here and it's just me, and some of them have thought that was lovely, and I think some of them felt lonely. I'm very sympathetic to people's experiences here, and I totally understand. Sorry if anyone wasn't here at a time when they wanted to be. But a lot of people have been here at times when they wanted to be, and they had a really great, interesting time. Some of that is talking to me, although you should never assume that I want to talk to you. I get bothered if there's too many people here. I'm very, 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 very shy in some ways, despite making videos of myself online. And I'm very protective of me to other people. I'm kind of a misanthrope. In other words, I'm probably going to start out not liking you. Now, that's not your fault. It's because I've had a lot of people come through here, and I've been abused by some kinds of people. It's very easy, it happens. And I think we all abuse each other in different ways, in the way we communicate and do things. I'm not perfect. I try, I'm working on it, I got things to learn. You could criticize this video, whatever. Don't come here then. Anyway, the attitude we have to each other has got to be mutually respectful. I respect you as a person in your physical personness who brought all the shit you needed to bring, can be self-contained and not bother me. Okay? Functional human beings. It's not a hospital. It's not very accessible either, which does suck. Accessibility would be great to have here, but everything's just lumpy trails, and right now they're wet. It's difficult. Anyway, lots to build here. Back to the teacher-student relationship. The fact they're even still watching this video is great, because it means you think I might have a mix of ideas to offer. And that's really the question of what is my, what do you call those in universities? It's the list of all the shit that they say they're going to teach you. Anyway, we need a bibliography, that's one thing. Curriculum. The course curriculum. Right, everything you need to know to pass the course. And really, everything should be a course here. Right now, where are you, for example, is a good course to learn because the Bosque is big. The number one thing I hear from participants when they arrive is, wow, I had no idea it was so big. So prepare yourself for that. And that's why you need a really good light, okay? The light thing is not a joke. It's to actually keep you safe at night so you can survive. Okay, you need a headlamp. I carry 2 lamps always. If I'm with a group, I carry 3 because sometimes there's a dumb fuck coefficient of people, but I'm trying to avoid them. Right now, with you, have a headlamp, have 2. Okay, it is dark as hell, and your bathroom is far from where you're sleeping. Maybe there's composting toilets. Who knows? Maybe you're camping. Maybe you're in a cabana. And at night, you should be sleeping, of course. You shouldn't need your headlamp a lot. The kind of headlamp you need to have, the kind of lamp you need to have is a LED, rechargeable lamp. The more of them that are here, the better. Of every single brand, so we can evaluate them and pick the best. Maybe even they can be sponsors. That'd be great. Because literally we have a hard time being enlightened here. It's one of the greatest problems that students have is that the night time is very long in the winter. So bring your headlamp, bring lights. I have an Amazon idea list. I'll put a link to it. Other things about the student-teacher relationship. First of all, I don't want to waste my time being your teacher. You might be a shitty student. Here are the signs of you being a shitty student. You don't take notes or record or do something to remember shit. And I have these people say to me, I'll remember things. Maybe. Recording, it's a good idea. If it's something that should be recorded, something should be recorded. Writing shit down is always a good idea. You should always have a notebook with you. A student without a notebook is a joke. Now, I can remember things. Now, some of them say they can use their phones. I say to them, prove it. If you can take better notes with your phone than you can with a pen and paper, then produce the text and the video and the things and show me you can produce that. Publish it on Instagram or some bullshit. Facebook, whatever. But I don't want to waste my time with cameras that record dumbass shit or people who do dumbass things. And unfortunately, I'll tell you this, and it's a terrible thing to have to say. It's absolutely terrible. Most people are bad students. So don't be one. You think you're learning, but you're not. If your hands aren't in there involved, then you're not. If you're not looking up terms and learning the terminology, then you're not. This fad of learning as a cultural experience, like I think there's types of workshops and classes where people just get together to meet other people who are like them. I only want to get the people who really care about that topic. I want to get the extremists. So let's say we talked about raw foodists, for example, okay? I'm not a raw foodist. I think that's an interesting topic. And so having a workshop here, inviting just raw foodists, and people who disagree with them, and having them do that in an intelligent way. All of them screened to be kind, pleasant individuals. That would be watchable. Better than an online discussion. So this space, the Bosque, for each participant is going to be very different. For some of them, they could have competitions. For some of them, they'll be like a cooking show. For some of them, we'll do local tourism. I'd like to explore the entire state. You have to have a very specific team for that. A deep travel team to explore places. So most participants should get to know the big picture, the small picture. Now I'm up here in another place. If you were here, you'd be lost as hell. If I dropped you right here, you would have no idea where anything else is. This is a bunch of forest, and this is back on the topic of it's big. There was a forest fire over here a while ago. You should look at a video on that. It's awesome. And now I'm just seeing what plants, well, let's do that right now. Seeing what plants grow back. I did not reseed it. I did it on purpose to see what plants I can kind of work into the ecosystem here. And I'll tell you this, I'm pretty pessimistic. Anyway, that's enough on agriculture. You still with me? Here we go. Let's talk about, these hard topics. Food. We can talk about food. I try to be as strict as I can with food. It varies. It varies from me not feeding myself because I don't give a shit. It varies to some person being here feeding me. Could be a guy or a woman. Hasn't been all that sexist. Sometimes I've had people come here and they get a big work discount just to cook some damn food. But a lot of people are terrible in the kitchen too. So I'm very picky. I have rules in the kitchen. Rules get followed or the person doesn't work out. Holy mackerel. What is that? I know what that is. It's a beautiful one. Oh, look at this. This is an edible mushroom. Can you see it? It's pretty beautiful. Now, the mushroom is the fruit of mycelium. I know this is an off-topic thing, but you know, if you come here, you're going to talk with me about a lot of off-topic things. And you better be a good conversationalist or be very helpful. Anyway, I forgot the name of this mushroom. But it's edible. It grows in here where the forest fire happened. You see various debris. I haven't finished looking for, I got distracted by the mushroom, for the plants that might have grown back. Now my theory is that they don't grow back well at all. I believe that the native plants here are extremely aggressive, which is their job. They fill every niche there is, and they cut out almost everything that's not native. And I've done this experiment many times. What you see is there's no reseeding, so things don't reseed on their own. I don't have a lot of things that grow from bulbs. I should probably focus more on bulbs, I think. Bulbs do well. Holy shit, this worked. Hey, I got squash blossoms. Well, that's very exciting. Well, it's not a big plant. Actually, it's pretty big. But I wish there was 25 of them. Oh, there's more over here. That's good. And what's all this other crap? Here's a poisonous plant. I gotta kill all those. I've already spent hours out here macheting. It's actually really fun. Wow. Here's an acelga. That's a Swiss chard that is alive and going to seed. Now, it's not going to breed true to a hybrid if it was a hybrid, and I avoid hybrids in general. I like heirloom seeds a lot. The heirloom seeds are really useful here. Those are old types of seeds that haven't been fucked with genetically much. But I'll plant whatever. Hybrids are okay. No owned crops. Oh, there's almost a trail right here. That's so cool. Ah, more squash. Awesome. Anyway, and no genes anyone owns. That's annoying as shit. The only genes you own are your own. Even if you make genes, you don't own them. And you should probably be really careful doing that because it's a high likelihood it's going to kill the shit out of us. It's exactly the kind of thing that makes it so aliens don't visit us. Fermi's paradox and all. Where is everybody? Well, as soon as we get really smart, we kill ourselves. And fucking with genetics is like number high up on the list of ways that we just make one tiny fuck up and we all die. Nah, it doesn't matter anyway. I really should not think about those things. I apologize for sounding negative. I guess I don't have anything else to do. Save the world. It's unsavable. I hope you try anyway, because you'll save your own world, I hope. And I guess that's what it comes down to, is saving your own world while making everyone else around you also win. While being highly empathetic, non-selfish, very giving. And it's difficult because there are certain types of people that we have to cut out of the system. That's why there's rules. And that's a big topic for participants. A lady told me the other day, she said I shouldn't try to have so much control. And I say, no. What the hell did I say? Oh yeah, my response was, well, I could just be a hermit, I guess. Because those are my choices. Either people can be well behaved, good towards each other and sign a social contract, or I don't want to know them, and I'm perfectly okay with being alone. Not really. I've called this my green jail. I'm in solitary confinement in the best place you could be. It's fantastic. There is no other place on the entire planet I would rather be than here. I'd rather not be alone. And that's another reason to talk about the teacher-student relationship, is because a lot of the people that come through here come through as students. And so they're my primary social contacts as a human being. That's another reason I only want really high-quality ones. Also, I want to get a lot of applications, and I want to accept not very many. And you know, just because we turn you down, don't take it as an insult. Please, seriously. If you got turned down to come to the Bosque village, which happens to most all people, please don't then get angry or tune us out. We may still want you here, but right now I have very limited facilities. I have a lot of risks. I have a lot of things to work on. And so I got to be really careful about who I have here. And that's good for you too, because it's cool to know cool people. And so my filter on who can come here is pretty important. That's why there's an application. So come as a student who knows what you know and knows what you don't know. Don't be an arrogant asshole. Come ready to give a class, give a talk. We'll do TED Talks. Fuck it. TEDx Bosque. Yeah. We'll do campfire discussions. We'll do activities where some of them might even be difficult. Can you start a fire with 2 sticks? Above all, take it seriously. I take this place seriously, and you see the world. It's kind of difficult. So what are you going to do? Well, don't mess me up. I'll try and help you. You try and help me, and think of it. Think of how you can really be a helpful student. Because learning is doing. How can you help fundraise for this place? How can you spread the word of this place? I think it's awesome. I want to share it again, but I'm not going to share it as cheaply as I did before. That caused me to run out of money. And I want each person that comes here to be making a social contract to the culture of the Bosque, to not be themselves. I'm not saying you're bad. Be the best of yourself. How's that? That sounds better. But if you got problems, don't bring them here. Don't bring your politics or spirituality. Leave it at home. You can act it out. I think even you guys that put your hands together and think over your meal look goofy. But maybe you're just trying to pick up chicks. I don't know. That's fine. You keep doing it. Ignore. You're not expected to agree with me in any way. That's one of my roles as a teacher also. Is I think there's a lot of authoritarian systems out there that say that the student has to agree with the teacher in some kind of obedient way. No, I'm not suggesting that at all. In fact, it's boring to me. I don't want the role. You need sycophants or religious scientific Brianists. That's bullshit. You're your own trip. So you steal everything I've got. You take it, don't take it. But be nice in the process. Don't insult me. Jesus, fuck. The social media world is bullshit. I had no idea there were so many dumb fuck assholes out there. I had heard there were, but I've protected myself from them fairly well. And wow, they make some just really... I'm not even sure what they're trying to accomplish with their comment, because they don't even offend me anymore. I do turn them off for a lot of videos with other people in them because I don't want those people to have to deal with comments. So I don't know. Anyway, that's one thing about this place, coming as a student, participant, is you're very likely to be making videos. And that's fun. You can go look at the videos we already made. They're fun. Some of them are boring. We would like to make less boring videos. You can help us do that. Actually, you can literally help us doing that. You could advise them, come here, that you think is awesome. They can look at the videos and decide if they want to. We can fund some people, not others. There's no money hardly right now. I need sponsors, I need paying participants, etc. But it's an awesome vision, and it has existed before. This mix of a whole bunch of people from around the world. My preference is about half Mexicans and half foreigners. The foreigners have to either, well, everybody in Mexico speaks Spanish, right? So there's no problems there. All the foreigners, they need to speak English fluently, okay? Like a native, damn near, or Spanish fluently. Now, it's okay if neither one is their first language, but it's really inconvenient. So it's really best for the place if people speak at least one of those fluently. And you know what's really great? It's a super big bonus. Please recommend this experience to people you know like this. If they're fluent in both English and Spanish, that's the best.